Good morning, New York City, and welcome to Behind Enemy Lines with Freddy, Daniele, and Brayden Welch. New episodes every Wednesday at 10 o'clock a.m. Eastern Standard Time. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, and everyone else, welcome to Behind Enemy Lines with Freddy and Brayden. This is a talk show with an Eagles fan and a Cowboys fan who have their own totally unbiased views on the NFL. Totally. And, we're very excited to get going here on this show today. We're just going to start with some intros about ourselves here. I went to acting school along with Brayden, my friend here, and I fell in love with football pretty not early on in my life. I fell in love when I was about 15. I'm 25 now. And it all started with Cam Newton. When I saw Cam Newton in that 2015 season, it made watching football not boring. And I just saw the way he was running all over the field, the way he was throwing it. I was like, I didn't think that a quarterback could play like that. And so I became an Eagles fan that season because of my mom and my mom's side of the family. They're all from Philly. And, I just love, like, the story aspect of football and the way that each season is like a soap opera that expands on each arc and everything like that. And, like, my heroes when I was young, I had my Carson Wentz is top 5 agenda. It's not looking great now. And Zach Ertz is the best tight end in the NFL agenda. It's maybe looking okay.
Huh?
But those are my heroes, you know? Those are my guys. And, that's a bit about me. This is my guy, Brayden, Cowboys fan.
Dude, when I tell you I want a Miles Austin jersey so bad, like I had one, but I was, much younger at the time. I'm Brayden. I'm a depressed Cowboys fan. It is, I grew up in Texas, grew up in the good old Fort Worth, right outside Dallas. And so, really fell in love with sports early on. I was very grateful to have a cool family that understood the power of sports. You know, one of my favorites, one of my earliest memories, honestly, in general, is watching March Madness with my mom, I already messed it up.
I'll bleep it.
Today. We'll talk about it.
I'll bleep it. Go Duke.
There we go. Watching March Madness with my mom, or and then one of the earliest ones is watching the Chicago Bears and the Indianapolis Colts play each other in the Super Bowl. Oh, yeah. And my dad would set up this massive. We lived in a little bit of a smaller house at the time, but he would set up like the one TV that we had, and we'd all get up right next to it and just kind of huddle around and watch football. And there was something magical about that. Something magical about being able to, bring people together and cheer for people that you've never met before, but also cheer for the stories. I think about like Peyton Hillis. I think about guys like Justin Forsett. We're watching history repeat itself. Rest in peace, Cam Scadaboo. But like we're watching history repeat itself with these lovable characters, these lovable guys that are going through the league, and it's something I was able to, kind of see and rinse and repeat over and over. And then, just fall in love with the competitiveness there. Also a Texas Longhorns fan, which is also a kind of a sad existence a little bit. It's gotten a little bit better. Texas Rangers, really, really sad existence for a long time there. But then I think it's the first time I might have seen my dad cry was in 2011. But then, we've gotten better. And then, of course, Dallas Mavericks. And anyways. So,
you guys are looking good now.
Yeah, totally. But all that being said, I'm used to the pain. And I'm used to being wrong and putting my heart out into things that I believe in. But, ultimately that's what sports is about, and it's about falling in love with a team and being able to say, like, I have full belief in this and to go for it and see the power and all that. So, I'm real excited. And once again, going through the story of it all. So where do you want to start off, Freddie? I'm excited.
What an absolutely amazing intro. That was taking everyone through the motions, man. I honestly want to start here with the Vikings Chargers Thursday Night Football. Carson Wentz, 15 of 27, 144 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception, 5 sacks taken. Brayden, how much of this loss is on Carson Wentz?
I mean, look, here's the thing. You can't. I almost feel like you can't really blame the guy considering he's out for the entire season now. But it's one of those things of I think the team. It's gonna be easy to blame him. I don't know if you probably should, I think the team is at a crossroads. Honestly, that defense is too good for them to be bad. That defense is too good for them to also rely on Carson Wentz as your quarterback. You can't do that. You can't rely as Carson Wentz. I mean, I know you have Carson Wentz is the greatest of all time.
The best.
Kind of fever going. But I don't think you can rely on him. They feel a lot to me. It feels akin last year to the Falcons, right? Where they finished the season 8-9, and you're like, wow. They probably are better than that, but they just keep, they're going to win the games that they should, and they're going to lose the games terribly that they probably should have won anyways, too. And it's like, I don't feel, I have a couple of questions about them as well, but I mean, what are your thoughts? Is Carson Wentz is he, is JJ McCarthy the savior then? Like, what's going on there?
Oh, man, the Vikings are such a confusing team to me because they feel like they're a quarterback away from being good. One quarterback. That's all it takes. They have such an outstanding... And the O-line has a lot that you could talk about. They were injured. But again, the O-line is wonky a little bit. But again, Carson Wentz, I don't think was the answer. And I don't think JJ's the answer either. But again, we haven't seen enough of JJ for me to form a complete opinion on him. I don't think that this loss is completely on Wentz. I think that a lot of it is, a fair amount of it is, but I think you also have to look at Kevin O'Connell. Everybody loves Kevin O'Connell. Great coach. He could work with any quarterback, from what we know. He could work with Kirk Cousins. He worked with Josh Dobbs. He was able to work with Sam Darnold, who now we're kind of seeing Sam Darnold might be a pretty easy quarterback to work with if you're not the Jets. There's a point during the game when Wentz was crying on the sidelines because he took so many hits. He was getting beat up all game. And a lot of those sacks were on him, but there were a few that also weren't completely on him. He got hit almost every time he threw the ball. And at some point, you got to be Kevin O'Connell, and I feel like you have to be like, yeah, take him out of the game. He's obviously hurt. Put Max Brosmer in. Brosmer probably won't be much better, but you don't know that. And at that point, you kind of, I feel, owe it to your fans, and you owe it to your players, and you owe it to just Wentz in general. And who knows, maybe Wentz was like, no matter what, keep me in this game. This is my one shot to prove that I'm still a starter in the league, and I don't want to blow it. But again, like, if he's that injured beyond repair, you got to be a good coach. Everybody has him in these top 10 talks all the time, but a good coach wouldn't do that. A good coach would not let your star... Well, I'm not even going to say star. A good coach would not let your quarterback go out there who's clearly injured and just play the entire game. You got to take him out at one point. And I mean, now he's having season-ending shoulder surgery. It's a mess. The Vikings are kind of a mess. I think their season's not going to end well compared to last year. Last year they were historic, the way that they played, and it all fell apart. But yeah, I don't know. I don't think that McCarthy's the answer. I think you have to start him. I do not think you could start Brosmer.
I mean, I agree. Like Brosmer, I mean, that was to my point why you don't put him in the game. I think that's more of a message about him than it is about Wentz. They don't really trust him, and for good reason. But what I'll say is, think about this. You talked about you don't know a lot about JJ. I don't think the Vikings know a lot about JJ, man. I mean, trade deadline is coming up, right? And they need to figure out if he's the answer, and they need to figure it out yesterday. Because quite literally, like, I don't know. If you look at, and this is to your point, I think Kevin O'Connell is a great coach. However, it was his decision in the preseason. They only played him one drive where he was 4 for 7. And this is a quarterback coming off a major injury when also he was a young quarterback coming in the league last year.
Yeah.
Right? He's 4 for 7. He has 7 attempts in preseason. You're saying he's going to be the guy. He plays, 2 games this year and is just, that first game, he played 1 good quarter and then falls apart that second game. It's one of those things that they need to figure out who their quarterback is, and you're running out of time to do it because you got trade deadline coming up. And do you want to waste, and I'll go on a tangent about this in a minute, but do you want to waste the prime of one of the greatest receivers of our generation in Justin Jefferson? No. And so, it's like with trade deadline, but I do genuinely ask the question of, would you rather, of course, that the price comes into play too, but would you rather have J.J. McCarthy and the hopium attached to him, or would you rather have a guy like these kind of, what they are, and they're not that great, but you could maybe turn them around and put
who do you think they could even trade for at that point? Because what I'm seeing here is Jefferson. You got to get Jefferson going. These guys aren't going to. He has 1 touchdown, week 1, and I lost a parlay because of it because I pulled out, and it was in the last 6 minutes of the fourth quarter.
Look, what I'll say is those guys that I had in mind were 2 guys that I think could actually shouldn't be dealt. It's going to be too expensive.
Okay.
And these teams are going to be too stubborn. But if you could get a hold of either Kyler Murray or Tua, two guys that I think are technically kind of left for dead by they are reaching the point where they might be seen as, hey, in the offseason, we don't know what's going to happen. If the Cardinals decide to blow it up, who's to say that Kyler doesn't end up getting a kind of Daniel Jones type of, hey, it worked out for Daniel Jones, but he was not supposed to be the starter in Indianapolis when he signed there.
No.
Right? So it's one of those things of who's to say Kyler doesn't get cut, doesn't get traded in the offseason, because he's proven he can't really win with that team. And then same with Tua. The only thing with the Dolphins is I feel like they're going to be too stubborn to trade him because that's what they are. I think you're going to see more of a chance with the Cardinals actually looking to move. But those guys, right? But you sit there and you're like, okay, who are we trading for? Guys that might be better than J.J. McCarthy when you let Sam Darnold go for nothing.
Well, that's the thing. And the way that they let him go, I don't know how much stake Kevin O'Connell had in this, but I'd imagine you'd have quite a bit if you're the coach of the team getting a quarterback. I don't know where I read, but I read somewhere that they were going to pay him to continue to be the backup for JJ, and the Seahawks were like, no, you could be our starter. Obviously, he's going to pick the Seahawks, and now he's having arguably an even better year than he did last year with this team that doesn't have the best offensive weapons. I mean, you got JSN, but that's it. Kenneth Walker is fine. Charbonnet steals his touchdowns. You just have JSN on that offense, and Noah Fant. Is he on? No, Noah Fant is on the Bengals. Is he? I don't know what team Noah Fant's on.
I mean, you also have a Cooper Kupp, the
and
bones,
Cooper Kupp. Yeah, I forgot
the
about
shadow
Cooper
of Cooper Kupp.
Yeah, and it's just you so messed up. If I'm the Vikings, I mean, you got to do that quarterback thing. Like I don't know if Kyler would be doable. I also don't know. Tua seems more realistic to be doable because it kind of seems like the Dolphins are really close to blowing that whole thing up.
Yep.
And building around Achane, which is what they probably should do.
But even if you're doing that, you are sinking because both those guys have contracts, right? So you are sinking resources into what might be just lost causes. Not a good situation at all.
No, and you're gonna also. I think a thing for McCarthy that this could be a thing. Are you gonna kill this kid's confidence? I mean, we see with Anthony Richardson, it's working out because Daniel Jones is good now, but we don't know if this same thing is going to apply a second time. Anthony Richardson's confidence is probably gone. I do not think he will start in the NFL again. And at this point, if this happens to McCarthy, he probably won't start in the NFL either. But you also got to think, are these guys going to be good enough? Is Kyler going to come in and change this entire system? Kyler's had okay teams. And Tua's had great teams around him. And Tua excels with great players. That's why maybe it would work better with Tua. But
I just think to answer your question, if you take those guys, right? If you take the guys that at one point were considered franchise quarterbacks,
Mm-hmm.
okay? If you trade for them, you're done with JJ McCarthy. I think honestly, it's an off-season trade, and Aiken too. Actually, a guy who I genuinely think they probably just will trade for. And it will band-aid it, and it'll say, "Oh, here's our stamp of confidence on JJ McCarthy." But if he fails, they have a guy. It would be Trey
Yeah.
Lance.
Oh, that's
Yeah, that's where I sit with it is that, and because otherwise he turns into Trey Lance if you sit there and go, oh, hey, I'm going to acquire Tua, and then yeah, JJ McCarthy has become a bust already if you're doing that. If you're
yeah.
giving up
And at
on
this
him
point,
this
you
early.
can't call him a bust. It's two. He's played, I think, 3 full games, maybe 2, and he hasn't looked great in any of them. But it's too early. He's basically a rookie. You're playing a rookie.
Yep.
But yeah. Moving on to, I want to move on to our next section here.
Yep.
If we're good with that, the Chargers. The Chargers, same game. It seems like Herbert got his win. Is he back in the MVP conversation, Brayden, or is it basically all over? He was 18 of 25, 227 yards, 3 touchdowns, 1 interception. What do you think?
He was never in the MVP conversation to start with. No, I look. Okay, so
I agree.
he is. I think because we're gonna talk about MVPs later. I have him like on the list as like a dark horse. It's he feels to me, again, we talk about, I kind of mentioned in the intro, history repeating itself. He feels like Phillip Rivers again. Like, he feels like this guy that is, or even kind of has that, like, Matt Ryan, early career Matt Stafford feel, where I'm like, okay, this guy can carry some teams. I genuinely have no clue if he will even ever make a Super Bowl. And it's not on him. It's more the fact of just the way the league is built right now. That division is brutal, and it's filled with some of the best defenses in the entire NFL, both with Denver and what we saw last night with Kansas City. And it's filled with some fantastic defenses, and I just don't think, compared to some other guys, unless he turns around and starts throwing 350 in back-to-back games, I don't think he'll be able to top these guys, especially, and he is one that is going to be hurt a little bit by his supporting cast, as much as I hate to say it, where it's like, I don't know, it's like, you have all these guys that are coming out and he's feeding them, which is great, but because all these guys are actually showing up, I think the Chargers as a team are looking good, but I don't think he's going to make an MVP run. I also don't think a Super Bowl is going to happen anytime soon for them. I could be wrong, but I'm feeling good that history's going to repeat itself and the Chargers are going to Charger.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to be in the MVP conversation. I think he had 2 weeks where he was. It's like the Saints from last year. He had 2 good weeks where he was, and since those 2 weeks, he's turned the ball over in every single game except for the one when he played the Dolphins. Every game, they've had a turnover. And at some point, and I know that everybody loves Herbert, he throws a pretty ball, he doesn't have a good supporting cast. Herbert has a good supporting cast. And the argument that he doesn't, that all these Chargers fans love to use, and all these quarterback loving the way they throw the ball guys love to use, he's had a good supporting cast. Keenan Allen on the Chargers is not Keenan Allen on the Bears. This guy on the Chargers is a number 1 receiver, and he's great. He had Mike Williams when Mike Williams was good, and now he has Ladd McConkey. Like, he has a good team. And as a running back, Hampton's injured now, but Vidal had a great game. And Hampton was playing great, and they are a run-first team. That's how they were last year with Harbaugh, and they've been good with him. And they have a good defense. The defense, I don't think, they're 11th. They had the 11th best last year. And I think at some point, the Herbert has no help agenda needs to go down. Because he also had, I forgot the guy's name. He was the running back who was great with them, and he was on Washington, and he's out for the season.
Oh, Austin Eckler.
Austin Eckler. Eckler was great on the Chargers. He was amazing. He was their best player for a while, and I feel like at some point we got to start being like, does Justin Herbert need a little more help than we all thought? And that's okay. Surround your quarterback with help. It works great. It works great. And just get them the players. And Herbert has good players, but again, when it comes to the playoffs, I just don't think he could get it done. And I think we saw that last season when he threw those 4 interceptions in one game. He doubled the interceptions he had during the season in one game, and it's not like the roster changed much during that playoff game. They were playing a Texans team who just scraped in there, who didn't deserve to be there. And I agree with you. I think history is going to repeat itself. I think the Chargers are going to make the playoffs, probably be out in the first round due to something Justin Herbert does. They played the Jaguars one year, and they were out because Herbert couldn't score more than 3 points in the second half, and they let Trevor Lawrence come back.
Oh, the GOAT, man.
The GOAT. And I'm just like, I've always been, I don't dislike Herbert, but I've always been on the train that people overrate Herbert to an extent that is disrespectful to other quarterbacks. And I think at some point you got to start looking at the success that they've had as individuals, and you got to start looking at how they are able to compete when the lights are the brightest. And I don't think that he's able to do it to the level that these guys like Mahomes, Allen, Hurts, I'm not even going to put Lamar up there, but Burrow, even Baker, like he's just, and Stafford, he cannot do what they do. And I have another, I can't even say that yet, but I'm going to, I hate hypothetical ball. I hate the whole, if they were on this team, they'd be good. But I will do it for this instance because everybody loves to say, oh, if any quarterback was on the Eagles last year, they'd win. If Herbert was on the Eagles last year, we do not win that game against the Rams. We don't.
I don't know. I kind of disagree with that one only because, and we'll talk about this when we get to the Eagles, but only because, yeah, your game plan would change, but your game plan would change to where you just be more pass heavy. You guys have the receivers to build it. That's the only reason.
That's
I don't
true,
think if you went over to if you went over to say, I'll even use like the Chiefs, they're a little bit scrappier. I don't think that he would have I feel like it'd be a similar situation to where I don't think he'd do like the Patrick Mahomes stuff. But I feel like it's akin to if he was on the Bengals, he'd basically do the same thing Joe Burrow does, which means just, struggle for his life in the pocket and then, pepper Jamar Chase, right? It's I feel like he's on the level. What I'll say is I feel like he's on the level to take a team that is good, great. Basically, he's not going to, we're talking about Tua. He's not going to Tua your team. Where he's not just gonna throw he's not going to throw 3 picks just because he can't see over the line, which was a wild quote by Tua. But he's not gonna do that. But
that's how
to your point,
I wouldn't be able to see over the line if I was a quarterback.
But to your point, he did, he throws picks and he's a little lackadaisical. It's more of the fact I think that they also just he faces tougher defenses. I'm not trying to defend him in that way because again it's one of those things that I think maybe in his career he'll make one Super Bowl. I don't think he's a Super Bowl winner anytime.
I don't even know if he'll make one, dude. At least not on this Chargers team. He's not gonna make one.
I don't know. Harbaugh has done weird things. He might make one, but I don't know if he'll I don't think he'll win one. In fact, I'll make a full take and say he won't. But he has a long career ahead of him. He is the way that he's kind of built works a little bit, where it's he's a pocket passer. Those age well. So he could turn into 35 and all of a sudden have a Matt Ryan year where he just goes crazy, and makes the Super Bowl and then blows a massive lead against I guess he can't blow it against Drake May because they're in the same conference. So he'll blow it against the Cowboys. Cowboys will win it.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Totally,
100%. I agree. Dak MVP. Speaking of the Cowboys, I'm going to talk to you about your team, and I would I want you to kind of take the lead on this one because you know more about the Cowboys than I do. even though I love paying attention to them. Is Dak's MVP campaign going down the toilet, and are the Cowboys going down the toilet? He was 19 of 31, 188 yards, 2 interceptions, no touchdowns. Joe Milton comes in, gets a touchdown right away. What do you think?
Wait, I'm gonna get really next to the mic for this one.
All right.
In the words of my favorite ayahuasca user, RELAX, relax. Okay, I think it's what we need to do. I think we need to breathe for a minute. Okay, Josh Allen had a terrible game a couple weeks ago, and everybody has forgotten it. Granted, the Bills are better, but I think it's one of those things. I'll make a bold statement. I would love to say that Dak is winning MVP. I don't think that's happening. But I would argue that as long as this team was playing like it was, he wasn't going to win it at all. Like, in the way that, like, if this team barely makes playoffs or makes the playoffs or misses by, like, a game, right? I think everyone would say, oh, well, the defense was bad, so we had to put up stats. Like, there's nothing, there'd be a lot of excuses. You'd have these teams that are doing better that lose the race to. What I will say is this team, the Cowboys, are so bad that it does, and I will eat my words because I'm not the biggest Dak fan. It shows how important he is to this team. Because when he plays bad, Aiken to like Lamar and the Ravens, right? Mm-hmm. Aiken to Lamar and the Ravens. When he plays bad, the team doesn't have a chance at all. Like, they're lucky that he's been having an MVP-esque season so far. Because, like, if they weren't, I would argue that they would be at this point where they would be talking about trading him because the team would be just – it would be – nothing. It would I would argue we probably would have like 2 wins or like 1 win if he wasn't having such a great year so far. So I think it's proof in the pudding that they fell apart whenever he didn't show up. I don't think that's going to be a long-standing thing. I think they're a momentum-based team. Schottenheimer's very good at getting people on the train, but when that train's moving the wrong direction, then it continues to move in the wrong direction. So I think it's one of those things of like the team itself is going to keep moving and, he'll get back on track, whatever. But I don't think he's not going to win MVP. Like, it's not going to happen. The team is just not good enough, and it's going to be another like 8-9 year or 7-10, like something like that. Or I guess we can't because we have the tie. So 8-1. We'll be a good old 8-8.
That's again. So funny because that's the exact record that I have you guys at. Yep. 8-1.
Yeah.
I fully agree. All of my dislike towards Dak has nothing to do with him as a person. He is like the nicest guy. He is a really good person. He won his Walter Payton Man of the Year award. Like that, you got to be a good person to do that. He's a great guy. He's a nice guy. He's funny. All that. All of my dislike for Dak comes from the pure Cowboys logo and that star. That's it. That's it. So everything that I say same with all these players. Everything I say about these players is never personal. Dak is an elite regular season quarterback, and I think everybody knows that. He is outstanding in the regular season. And I think you make a really good point. If he wasn't on that team, they would not have the offense they have. And you saw what they were able to do without CeeDee Lamb. They were great. They had some great games and still lost some of them. That defense is god-awful. That is the worst defense I think I've ever seen in the entire league, and they made Bo Nix look like a good passer. Like, that defense was bad. Really bad. And I don't think it's something Micah would even fix. I still don't think that the Micah trade was that bad. I'm probably in the vocal minority.
I'm still pro Micah trade, as bad as that sounds.
Yeah, I don't think it was that bad.
Here's the thing, and you and I have talked about this off mic before, but it's one of those things of like, we would probably with Micah have maybe the 16th best defense. Like, we'd be middle of the pack.
Yeah.
And like, so what we did is we traded a guy. We now have probably the 25th, 26th best. We probably have one of the worst defenses in the league. we might not be the worst, but we're close to it. And sure, whatever. But like, we got first round picks out of it. We got a guy that was supposed to help. Of course, now he's hurt. But like, it works out for the Packers, sure. But also, I don't think we're automatically a Super Bowl contender with Micah. Like,
No,
this team
I
is
fully
not
agree.
going to contend for a Super Bowl with him. And maybe that's defeatist, but it's
Yeah,
what it is.
I think also I do think there were some instances where Micah could have helped. Week 1 against the Eagles when we were rusty and you guys were rusty, Jalen probably wouldn't have gotten those 2 touchdowns if Micah was on the team. He would have chased him down. He's fast as all hell. Oh heck, that's fine. He would have chased him down, but yeah. Either way though, about Dak, there is an agenda. I feel that Dak doesn't have the help that other quarterbacks have, and I disagree.
I disagree. I think he has so much help. Dude.
Okay, perfect. Yeah,
So
that's
much
something
help.
we agree on. Dak has had top offenses on his team since he's been in the league. He's been, and this is where the elite regular season play kind of becomes an issue, because when it gets to the playoffs, I think we could both agree he is one of the worst quarterbacks in the league.
I mean, it's yes. Caveat. Caveat there is, I think his quarterback play in the playoffs has been tied to a certain coach, and that certain coach is genuinely one of the worst coaches I've ever seen coach in the NFL ever, and that is Mike McCarthy. So, like, I would love to see him maybe get to the playoffs without Mike McCarthy, because I think Mike McCarthy chokes on his own spit, and so
Yeah.
you know it doesn't take much for him to choke in the playoffs too. So it's like that kind of thing of I would love to see him there without him and see how he actually plays. But I agree with you. I mean, I've always said, like, if there's one drive left in the game, I'm not necessarily if I'm picking a quarterback, Dak's not probably my top 5 to pick a quarterback for that, right? It's like, I'm not saying, oh man, I have one drive left, good thing we have Dak. I'm like, I'm more saying good thing we have Brandon
Well, we
Aubrey.
saw that in the Panthers game when they had one drive left with him, and it just didn't get going. And you can't with Schottenheimer, even in the Broncos game when it was 4th and 5, you heard Tony Romo be like, I would have gone for that. You can't leave it up to your defense because they're going to score. It's just going to happen. The Cowboys are at this point kind of a get-right team for offenses, and it's just because that defense is so bad. If the defense wasn't bad, I'd probably have them going around the 11-6 to 12-5 area that they're more so a part of. Maybe a playoff loss in the first round again. But I think that the Cowboys are not going to have a good season. They're not going to make the playoffs. They'll probably be 8-1, which going into it, though, those were, to be honest, that's better than a lot of people thought they'd do. They'll probably get second in the NFC East. The record of opponents that they've beaten is 6-18. If you include the tie, it's 11-19-1, but that's not great. And their schedule isn't easy per se because they play the Eagles again, and I do think that
easy dub.
There's something about the Cowboys with Dak and Dallas that make it tough for the Eagles, but I still think that shouldn't really be hard. I don't know. I don't think that I think, like you're saying, Dak's MVP, he could 100% be in the conversation if the Cowboys were just a better team.
Yeah,
if they were 12-5, he'd be in the convo. But if they go 8-1 and he has like these outstanding stats, it won't matter. Because it's like Joe Burrow from last year. Joe Burrow had great stats. It didn't matter. But yeah, no, Dak is a great regular season quarterback. I think everybody agrees he's probably the second best in the NFC East. He's
Jaden Daniels, yeah. Sorry.
He's better than Jalen.
Jackson Dart, yeah, okay.
Well, cool. Jalen Hurts. But yeah, that's
I don't know what that is.
That's basically I don't know. What else? Do you have anything else about the Cowboys that you think?
Well, I mean, you mentioned that tie. I will say, look, here's the thing. It's we're week 9 now. Week
Halfway.
9. It's a Tuesday afternoon, everybody. And let me say, I'm so riding high from the win that tie was.
It was a
I've
win.
never seen a tie be a
That was a
win
win.
ever, but it was a win.
Yeah.
It felt like Ted Lasso when they're like going for the tie. Like I genuinely was just like, you know what? The fact that the Packers and y'all will know,
You'll know.
soon enough. Y'all will know soon enough
They didn't beat them.
when we have some no pack no going. But let me tell you, listen to this, my good old Packer friends. You needed to trade for we'll call him our best player. Maybe CD's our best player, but you needed to trade for our best player
I
in
think
order
Dak
to
might
tie us. And I'm looking at you right now. That's a loss for you. All I'll say.
He had one
All I'll
sack.
say. And they lost to the Browns, so I hate the Packers. Anyways,
One sack. He had one sack at the line of scrimmage that did nothing.
it's just he's just fine. He's okay. He's gonna flame us on his own podcast when he hears this. Totally. So
He'll be
he'll
on
be
one
great.
day.
He'll be
on
great.
one day. He'll be on here.
So we've talked about the Cowboys. I do want to go back eventually. I have a little thing I want to talk about some like wide receivers, but we'll
yeah.
get to that. We'll get to that because I want to talk about your Eagles first. Look, I read the notes. I don't like how you started this. I don't know what MVP race you're talking about with Jalen Hurts, and it's just that's non-existent. I believe the better question that you're asking is, are they back? Yeah, I do want to hear your thoughts on this, but I think you're gonna hate mine. So let's start with yours because I do think you're gonna despise what I have to say after this.
I'll start with the are they back, and then I'll go into the MVP convos. But look, Saquon has not had a game over 100 yards this season. In order for the Eagles until now,
There you go.
in order for the Eagles to win a game, they had to focus on the passing game. And when the passing game wasn't going, they had to focus on the defense. For the last 2 weeks, we have our quarterback playing at his top level that he's probably ever played at, and we have our running back finally getting his first 100-yard game of the season against his former team that made him look like a civilian last week or 2 weeks ago. The Eagles are back. They're back. They're back. You hate it. I love it. The combined record of opponents that we've beaten is 24-21. They're back. They've beaten good teams. We've beaten the Rams, the Buccaneers, the Chiefs, the Cowboys. Well, the Chiefs. Those are the 3 good teams we've beaten. I was gonna put the Vikings and Cowboys in, but I mean the Vikings kind of look like they're on the down, and the Cowboys I think could be. The Cowboys are in a weird middle spot where their offense is really good.
Both teams are not nothing matchups. You're not the Jets.
And the thing about the Vikings is they have the top passing defense in the league up to the week that we played them. And our quarterback had the first perfect and only, by the way, the first and only perfect passer rating of the season. And this is where I kind of want to lean into the MVP talk here. We have a bunch of MVPs, blah, 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 blah. Jalen Hurts, he doesn't deserve to be in it. Jalen Hurts is averaging 20 total touchdowns to 1 interception on this season with a passer rating of 114.4. This is his best season in the NFL so far. And throughout the past 2 weeks, he's had 7 incompletions. 7 incompletions and 7 touchdowns. He has the same amount of touchdowns as incompletions.
On how many attempts?
Listen, he had 20 attempts against the Giants, and then against the Vikings, I think he had 32 or something like that.
All right, that's better.
He's had some good. It's not like he's passing the ball 12 times a game, and those rushing touchdowns aren't tush push. He has 2 tush push touchdowns on the season. The rest of them are running.
Yeah, I think the 4 straight tush pushes against the Giants was a.
Listen, that Giants game was. I will say this about the tush push: the Eagles are doing everything they can to make sure that this is the last season that play is in the league. This play is getting banned. I love it. It's getting banned. But no, I think he needs to be in this conversation. He AJ Brown wasn't even playing against the Giants. He got that touchdown to Jahan Dotson. Had the 2 to Dallas Goedert. Had 1 to Saquon. 4 touchdowns. 3-time LFG player of the game with Tom Brady. He should be in that conversation with these other guys, especially with Josh Allen, who we'll get to when we talk about our MVP and all that stuff. But yeah, I want to hear your thoughts on this, and I want to hear why you don't think he deserves to be in the MVP convo. And if you say his roster, I swear to God.
Oh, I mean, I have a thing on the roster in a minute, but let's just say you guys have 2 losses on the season, right?
2 losses, yeah.
2 losses to Denver and New York. Okay?
Yes.
So I'm gonna list off some stats for you. First of all, he's 11th in passing yards in the league right now. He's tied for 6th in touchdowns, passing touchdowns. That's great. Well, only 1 pick. That's fantastic. 9th in QBR. That's fine. That's okay. Let's go back to those 2 losses on the season. So to your point, last game he was 15 for 20 passing in the win. Okay. So he threw the ball 20 times for 179 yards. Okay, the week before, 326 yards. That's crazy. On only 23 attempts. That's also crazy. So his average was wild. Okay. Your 2 losses. He has 3 games on the season with over 30 passing attempts. One of them was the win against the Rams. And the other 2 games that he's passed the ball over 30 times, y'all have lost. When relying on Jalen Hurts, this team loses. And granted, yeah, it's because of game script, right? You're losing games more, so you have to pass because you're down at the end of the game. But regardless, a statistic, he only has only 1 game over 300 passing yards. And again, you can say that that's not his game. Before last game, he only had 11 passing touchdowns on the season. So he had 4 to prop him up to 15. Which is once again a decent number, but not beautiful. And then of course you even look, he had negative 10 rushing yards against the Vikings. That doesn't feel right. This is ESPN's wrong. Oh, I guess because they're counting sacks.
Yeah. He took. No. I think.
Oh no! Yeah,
I think
he took the really long.
Yeah, he took a pretty bad one.
I was like, sacks should go towards.
And he took a really bad one against the Giants that lost us made a 2nd and 31.
Yeah. But all I'm saying is his rushing numbers. I mean, he caps out at 62, which he's done twice. So that's not terrible. It's not bad. But I don't think, as we look at all the other MVP candidates, I don't think. Yeah, the team looks. Well, the team is good. I don't think his stats are anything that I'm like, wow, I need that guy. I need this is his year. In fact, actually, I would say that whole it's almost the reverse stack thing, where it's the more they rely on Jalen Hurts, the worse the team's gonna do. And that to me, it feels similar. So this is where I was kind of gonna get for you. You're gonna get mad at me. This team, I have in my notes. This team has such massive egos. I don't think they can be back. So genuinely,
I know who you're talking about too.
This is where I'm gonna get with this.
Yeah.
Jalen Hurts reminds me of a better. So let me put this here. Better, much better, so much better version of Tua or Justin Fields. And let me tell you why I'm saying this. Not in style of play, in how he's treated on the team.
Okay.
So I feel like the entire team, from just an outside looking in perspective, is just waiting for him to fail to say, yeah, I told you so. I told you he wasn't going to be that good. Even after his Super Bowl win, it feels like there are players on that team, right? You see that Giants game when y'all lost, and they're throwing the ball a lot, and he's missing throws, and Devontae Smith and AJ Brown are just on the sideline, and they have their towels over their face, and they're talking to each other, and it looks like this team this year, and this happened a couple years ago too, when y'all flamed out at the end of the year, just doesn't have the faith in him that you typically would. I will use the Chargers, that the Chargers do in like Justin Herbert, or you use like the Chiefs with Patrick Mahomes, or like even the Bengals with Joe Burrow, right? It's like it looks like, and honestly, it actually is a little bit akin to Dak, where it's like I think Dak's a similar way ish, where if Dak starts to throw, if Dak starts to lose games, I mean, Dak had one bad game, and you were asking, what is he done? Like, what's going on?
Yeah, you saw CD on the sideline there.
Yeah, exactly. And so
well,
I think
this is where so sorry to interrupt on that, but I fully understand what you're saying. I don't think the entire team is waiting on him to fail, but I do think there's one player who is.
Yep.
And I don't necessarily want to I hate when Philly media gets this drama going and all that. But at some point, I feel like there's a little less. It's not necessarily drama if it keeps happening, and it's not necessarily on the media if it keeps happening. And I think, I don't think. Here's the thing, I don't think the entire team is waiting for him to fail. All you hear about him is good things. Jahan Dotson was interviewed after the Giants game just now and said, they were like, "What do you think about Jalen?" He said, he's just he's playing the way that we know that he can play, the best quarterback in the NFL. And players who say that, they're supposed to say that about their quarterbacks, but the ones who say that believe in them. And you have people like Devontae Smith, who was on a podcast this offseason. They were saying, where do you rank Jalen? And he was like, for me, he's easily top 5. That's who he is. And you have and then you have, we have AJ Brown, who's a whole thing that I do want to get into, because I think that you can't really talk about the Eagles without talking about him. And as for the MVP and his throwing numbers when you get to the games that they need to rely on him for, I think we seem to forget the difference with the Cowboys up to this point and the Eagles with this point is the Cowboys had a reliable run game on offense. The Eagles, until this game, did not have a run game. And you see teams without a run game. The Chiefs didn't have one, and Mahomes led them in rushings for the first, 3 weeks? And they looked terrible. And now they're kind of starting to get one together a little bit, but it's still rusty. But
he's
again,
still their
you can't really compare Jalen to Mahomes. I think that's just malpractice to do that because he's not on his level. But teams without a run game aren't good, and I think what was so good about Saquon and Jalen together is that teams didn't know who was going to run. When Saquon's not playing well, the teams know that Jalen is going to take off and try to do something, and it leads to him not playing well. And I want to kind of go to the Broncos game here, because as much as we say, like, oh, if a quarterback loses, that loss wasn't on him. And I think that is fair. I could fully say that the Giants' loss was because of him. He did not play well. He missed Devontae Smith on a wide open one. He missed A.J. Brown in the end zone. But every quarterback is going to play that way at some point. All the best ones do. Mahomes does. Allen has had a few stretches with it. Burrow, even that first game, I'm going to say that's like his only full game. He didn't play well. Every quarterback is going to have that game, and that is the only game, and I guess the Buccaneers game, that I could say that he did not play well in. And even in that Broncos one, he was able to get them in a position to win the game. And if AJ just didn't tackle Devontae Smith in the end zone, we would be winners. That game would be a win. And again, the reason we lost was because AJ Brown gave up on a route. We saw him throw a pass and he stopped running. That was a perfect chance for him to get a touchdown and stop complaining, and he gave up on the route. And then, again, relying on him to pass during the Vikings game, that was him. They needed to rely on him, and he said, I can do it for you guys. Again, with the Giants game, you didn't really have to as much because of Saquon. And even then, he was able to play very efficiently and very well, and I think that's where we could start getting into conversations about, I think that he is up there with the elite quarterbacks because he does what's asked of him every single time. That, I think the whole the whole narrative of him not being able to be there when the team calls on him is just not true. I think he had one bad game where he wasn't able to be there for him, but that Broncos game, he was there for them. He put them in a position to win.
I think and that's where I say, like, I think that he's there for them, I don't think you want him to have to do everything. That's where
No,
I
that's
sit there and I go,
100% fair. I don't think you want him to as well. I think that no quarterback wants to be able to do everything. I think we're seeing how that's going in Buffalo, and I don't think it's going well. And like again, going to I want to use another game in which he was. I feel like he was asked to do a lot. The Rams game. We could use that one. If you have a quarterback in clutch time where they need to win the game and it's on their shoulders, I'm taking Jalen. He's had that Rams game where he had to have that point and get that. We had the Broncos game where they didn't get it done, but they were in that position to do it. And if a certain wide receiver didn't interfere because he wanted a touchdown so badly, it would have been won. To the point that he ran to the end zone to try to catch his own deflection from a Hail Mary. The Giants game, sure, we could do that. The Vikings game, he put it all on his shoulders to win that. And you could say, Wentz, our defense is not great. The Eagles' defense is not great this year compared to they were last year. We were historic, and we made Wentz look not great, but we put Wentz in a position that we shouldn't have where he could have won that game. And then you go back to week 1 against the Cowboys. That was him who won that game. He was the reason. And then I guess like the weather delay kind of messed up both teams. The Cowboys couldn't get anything done. Eagles couldn't get anything done. But Jalen was the reason the Eagles' offense was going well. And again, he put them in a position to win. He's the reason they got that first down in that first game. It led to them winning. Again with the Chiefs. I guess the Chiefs game is kind of a confusing one because that was a very much defensive shootout with both sides. And then the Rams, he's the reason they won that one. Again, blocked field goal, whatever. But he got them in the position to win. Got the defense in that position. We could go all the way back to 2023, the Bills game. 2023, even though we had that fall off, was a perfect example in the beginning of the season of what Jalen is capable of. And it's his clutch ways to win games. He won almost every game except the Dolphins won by one score, including that Bills and overtime game. And you go to the first Super Bowl he was in, they were in that position to win it again, to win that game, and it was the defense that sold it in the end. And, I mean, this most recent one, he was front running. He won that. But again, he put the game away. When they asked him to, he put the game away with the dagger. And I just think that he needs to be up there due to his clutch ability as a quarterback.
Yeah, I mean, here's what I'll say. And actually, if I seem tired at all, it's because last night I was watching the 18-inning World Series game.
What a game.
Insane. Wait, here's what I'll say. He is a fantastic relief pitcher, is how I'll equate him. He is a shutdown guy. He can win the game for you. I don't think you want him pitching all 9 innings, to use that metaphor. That's where I'm going with that. I think there are some guys that I sit there and I go like, okay, I'm gonna let you throw the ball 40 times and just run the offense through you, and we're gonna make it happen. I think he's a fantastic. I think and this is where I go with it. I think as like I won't even call him like he's better than a game manager. So like like way better than a game manager. He's Super Bowl winning quarterback, but I think he gets to the point where he is a guy that I want to be able to close out those games. But I'm not going to rely on him. I'm not going to say, hey, Jalen, this is your drive, go for it. You know, it's like, no, we're going to like sprinkle in like a run on first down, a run on second down, and then you're now in a third and short, and then I can trust you to either rush the ball or dink and dunk to Dallas Goedert to get the first down, right? It's like that's where I sit there and I go, if you got to go 80 yards, I don't know if I trust him to do it. I trust him to have the heart to do it. He's great with that. I don't know if I trust him to get that drive down there.
So that's I find that I think that's very interesting because I think you don't want any quarterback throwing the ball 40 times because no quarterback wins Super Bowls doing that except Mahomes. Mahomes has had 2 Super Bowls where he's thrown the ball 42 times and won the game, or 40 plus times.
And
Brady?
There you go.
Yeah, those are the GOATs. I don't think Jalen's in the GOAT conversation with these guys, and I don't think anybody would put him up there with them. But I think those are the only two who would do something like that. And Mahomes specifically, did Breeze do that in his Super Bowl? He made it once, and I don't know if he did that in his Super Bowl, but Mahomes threw the ball 42 times in the first Super Bowl he was in against the 49ers, and he did not play well. But he won Super Bowl MVP because he was clutch when they asked him to be. But they were behind most of that game, and it shows that you do that when you're behind most of the game. And you don't want your quarterback doing that because as it stands right now, there are 3 active franchise guys who are Super Bowl champions in the league. There's Mahomes, there's Jalen, and there's Matt Stafford. That's it. No other guy is a franchise starter on a team that has won a Super Bowl, and I could only say confidently one of them have thrown the ball 42 times when asked to win a Super Bowl and didn't play well in either of them.
Matt Stafford threw 40 passes in his Super Bowl win, too.
Did he actually?
Yeah.
Okay, well, he didn't win Super Bowl MVP.
I mean, that's what I'm saying. And then, like, you look at, like, guys like Joe Flacco, who won a Super Bowl. You look at guys, I mean, like, there are guys that are, you know, prime pocket passers that throw a lot.
They do. Yeah, 100%. And that's the thing, though, is Matthew Stafford is also a pocket passer. And Mahomes is a special case. He's like Brady, where he has that GOAT factor to him. And the best Super Bowl Mahomes ever played in was the Eagles one, the first one where he threw the ball 27 times. And he played amazing. And I think it's where we have to start thinking as like people who watch the game. And I think this is something that GMs should think about. Unless your quarterback is a pocket passer or that Mahomes type, why are we having them pass the ball 40 times? You're not going to win. You're not going to win. That's just how it is. Josh Allen has had games where he's done that. No rings. Justin Herbert has had games where he's done that. No playoff wins. Baker Mayfield, no rings. You have these guys who they try to put all this on their plate, and everyone talks about how, if you put this on their plate, they'll win the game. Then do it. Then win the game. Because they haven't. And they don't. They just don't win. So then you finally have a quarterback who they're like, we'll make him make the clutch plays that we want him to because we need him to win that. And in my mind, that's where I get the 9 innings from, is because they ask him to do that a lot of times. They ask him to do that almost every game in 2023. And sure, it'll get to a point where you collapse and you don't win because it happens to every team. Every single team that happens to, unless you're the Chiefs. And it's where it gets to a point where I'm like, why are we judging Jalen a different way than we judge these other guys? Because he has a team around him and a GM that knows how to build one?
No, I mean, again, it's to me, it's a thing of, like, if the stats were astronomical, even in, like, the rushing side, his rushing stats are, like, they're okay, right? So that's what I say. It's like he's doing all right. As far as, like, the MVP race, I don't think he's in it.
I think he will be, because every year he somehow finds his way into the MVP conversation.
Yeah.
But yeah, no.
But going to that wide receiver, because I want to talk some wide receivers for a minute, and then we can
I would love
continue
to
on the MVP chat. But we're gonna start with AJ Brown there. So, I mean, man, like, it's one of those things that I feel like you should, as a team, be trying to trade him, but you can't because y'all are doing well, and it might rock the boat type of thing, right? Because for a guy to catch 2 touchdowns and then say, literally look at the camera and say, just throw the effing ball, right? And let that be his thing. Or, like, win the Super Bowl and is all down in the dumps about it because he only caught, 2 balls for, 13 yards in the Super Bowl type.
And he got a touchdown in it.
Yeah. And he's upset. It feels like he's going, obviously the one that you can think of is, Antonio Brown, but not even, there, because that's more feels CTE-esque.
Yeah,
it looks like he's going the Michael Thomas route.
Stephon Diggs or Michael Thomas, I would say.
Yeah.
Except where they didn't win Super Bowl. It's like, what is he doing?
Well, but it's one of those things of, it feels like he's going, but even then, right? But it feels like he's going that route where it's, near the end of his time, Michael Thomas was, kept insisting that he was him. I feel like if you have to insist that you're him, you're about to lose that. It's like, what do you know that I don't? And so it's that kind of thing of, I feel like y'all need to trade him, but I feel like you can't, if that makes sense. Like, you're kind of stuck
Yeah,
with a whiny child a little bit.
I think we can't for multiple reasons. I think the big one is the cap hit that we'll take. We'll take a devastating cap hit because we just paid him a ridiculous amount of money. The best thing that could have happened this game was that Jalen played the way he did without A.J. Brown. Because, we see like players don't want him to succeed. I think it's one player that doesn't want him to succeed, and I think it's A.J. Brown. I work at this building across the street from me as a doorman sometimes to cover. And one of the Amazon delivery guys came in who was an Eagles fan and told me he went to the Giants game that they lost. And I was like, what do you think needs to happen for this team to get its spark back? And you know what he said?
Trade A.J. Brown.
Exactly that. He said that every time they'd go into the huddle, Devontae Smith needed to be like, come over here, because he would walk away. Every time. And you kind of see that on the field. He's not really there in the conversations. I will say in the Vikings game, it looked like something kind of changed where he was in the conversations. And then he goes on Instagram and says, using me, but not using me. You see the way that Jalen celebrates with Devontae Smith after a touchdown, with Jahan Dotson, with Dallas Goedert, with Saquon. They all have a really nice celebration. And then he celebrates with AJ, and it's a high five. And the two of them were best friends. And I think like a lot of Eagles fans are like, I don't care about their relationship. I just want them to win. I am the same way. But if their relationship starts to get in the way of winning, you start to have an issue. And I think a lot of people are scarred with Owens and McNabb in this fan base and that whole thing that went down. I don't think this is like that because I don't think that they're at that level. Plus, they did win a Super Bowl together. But AJ posted on his Instagram after the Super Bowl that what he likes most is dominating. He doesn't like championships. He said it was short-lived. Go to the Browns. Catch a bunch of passes from Dylan Gabriel for 2,000 yards. Don't win any rings. And the Browns give us Myles Garrett in a first-round pick. But they won't. But it's just... It gets to a point with AJ, and I think people kind of go like, oh, do we want to put all of our faith in Jalen or AJ? And I think the team trusts Jalen more. And the team likes him more. Because BG said last year, and BG's back, I love Brandon Graham. I don't like the decision that he's back, but I love Brandon Graham. He said last year, he went on the WIP, the podcast, and talked about how 1 is trying and 11 could be better at how he approaches things. I think that was enough to get us a glimpse into the locker room of how everyone feels. I think everybody sees AJ kind of the way we do. That he's this guy who just wants the ball. And I think Jalen does what's best for the team in the moment. If AJ was playing that game against the Giants, he wouldn't have been happy. And I think we looked, and this is a hot take, and I don't know if you might think this is a hot take, we looked better without him.
I would agree.
We looked so much. We could win a Super Bowl without him.
So let me ask you some questions.
Okay.
Let me ask you some questions. I'm going to name some wide receivers. All you gotta tell me is a simple yes or no on if you trade 1 for 1. And this is not, this is not just a one-season thing, right? You're getting these guys for the rest of their time until they go to free agency or whatever.
Okay.
1 for 1. Would you trade A.J. Brown for Jalen Waddle?
No.
Okay. Chris Olave?
No.
Okay. Jordan Addison?
I don't think so.
Okay. Then you're not going to do this one probably. Xavier Worthy?
Probably not. Not. And
so this sounds like that kind of market because I don't think I know the Jaguars are talking about trading, or they came out yesterday saying they're not trading Brian Thomas Jr. I don't think you're getting a guy like him for AJ, especially at this point in his career, right?
No, not at all.
But those are the guys. That's my one thing is if you trade him, you're either trading him for a draft pick that's not going to help you this year at least. Right? It's not really going to help you this year.
Well,
or you're doing a wide receiver for wide receiver trade, you're trading for one of those guys. And while I think there's a couple of those guys that I would probably take over AJ Brown right now, it's not a slam dunk. So that's where I say it feels like purgatory a little bit, right? Where you're
Well,
like,
yeah, I wouldn't trade him for a wide receiver. That's just I
yeah,
think that we could be fine with Devontae as one and Jahan Dotson as two. I think that's a really good duo that most teams wish they had. And Mechie would be three. And I think that's a fine lineup. I think that would be great. We still have Dallas Goedert. I would want him. Honestly, a dream trade that wouldn't happen would be for Myles Garrett and a first-round pick from the Browns. That's the dream scenario.
they'd never give you the
They'd
first.
never
Though.
do that. They'd never
They
in a million years.
maybe 1-for-1 for Garrett, but then you're also just
Then
basically
we're
trading.
also kind of we're trading our
You're
wide
just getting an
receiver.
old head.
But honestly, I think I would. Maybe part of me would like that.
Yeah.
Maybe part of me would do something like that because at this point, it just until AJ can. If I'm Jeffrey Lurie, the owner of the Eagles, I sit AJ down in a one-on-one meeting and I say, look, I want you to be straight up with me. I know you're playing this game with the media, and maybe he's already done this, and maybe he really is playing games with the media, in which case, that's fine. Do that. It gives us more to talk about. I love it. But sit him down and be like, I want to know where your head is at because for the next 5 years, we're built to compete. We're built to be Super Bowl competitors. And if you don't want that and you want to go somewhere where you will have these yards, and at this point, he's on path for a Hall of Fame. He is an All-Pro every time he's been on the Eagles. Every year he's been an All-Pro. And last year, his numbers weren't amazing compared to his other seasons. He was still an All-Pro. He plays better with Jalen. And for some reason, it seems like he doesn't like him.
So 2 more names that I'll throw out.
Okay.
And there'll be draft picks attached to it. And then we can move on to the MVP race and all that fun stuff. Would you trade him for Cortland Sutton and a third?
How old is Sutton now?
He's 29 as well.
29? That's a tough one. I'm leaning on it, but I still don't think I'd do it.
And then the other one is another disgruntled wide receiver, which would be Jacoby Myers and a third.
Is he disgruntled right now?
Oh man, he's injured. He demanded a trade in the offseason.
Jacoby, how old is he?
I want to say he's 28.
I'd maybe do Jacoby because 28's a good age range.
He might be 29.
He's 28. Yeah, he's turning 29 soon. Maybe not. I probably wouldn't. I'd lean more towards Sutton than Jacoby.
Yeah. And
100%.
that's both those guys. Obviously, Sutton's happy in Denver, but isn't getting used right now.
No, but Sutton doesn't care. He's fine, and that's what I think Amon-Ra St. Brown is the perfect example of a wide receiver one, because even CD gets disgruntled. Yeah. Amon-Ra doesn't. He could be a run blocker for the whole game, and he'll be like, "We won," and be happy.
Yep.
And that's what Devontae Smith does, and that's why I think that Devontae is low-key the wide receiver one of the team, because he also has been getting the most targets and has played phenomenally this entire season. He'd be great, but we're never going to get Amon-Ra. That's just never going to happen. They'd never accept an A.J. Brown Amon-Ra trade. That would be A.J., and we'd have to include 2 firsts. Because they love him.
Yeah, I was thinking, maybe if you even tried trading for Marvin Harrison, but you'd have to include picks, and Harrison hasn't looked good.
Yeah.
So it's one of those things of because he's so young. Yeah. Oof.
And he also probably wouldn't get used as much because Devontae's there. But yeah, we could move on. That's basically our spiel, my spiel on A.J. Brown. I'm very confused with him. I think I don't know what I want. I don't know if I truly want to trade him. I think I want to trade him if he wants to go. If he doesn't want to be here, you got to get rid of him. But if he wants to be here, I want him here. That's what it is. I want him here if he wants to play for our quarterback, for the team, for the city. That's what I want.
I'm just really excited for him to run off fields, whip off his shirt, twirl it around.
So Jalen's getting compared to the Tom Brady Bucks.
Yep, there you go. That's it. Yep. So So perfect segue talking about Tom Brady. Going into let's go with these MVPs. So in my opinion, you said MVP order our way. I'll say this: I think it's a 2-man race right now. Mm-hmm. I genuinely don't think really anybody else should be in it as of right now. Things can change, of course. Gotcha. I'll start at kind of the bottom. I'll say the little dark horses would be Danny Dimes. Did you know he's third in passing yards?
Is he really?
He's third in passing yards. That's actually crazy. Danny Dimes,
I probably wouldn't have him in
Herbie,
the MVP
Dak,
combo.
Stafford. Like that was my thing. Is like I probably wouldn't because it's Daniel Jones, but the fact that he's third in passing. Also, Tua's tied for fifth in passing touchdowns. I didn't know that either. But we're not putting about that. But guys like that. But I think it's a two-man race. Like I think you have like Mahomes, Allen, Baker on the outside, but I think two-man race between Drake May and Jonathan Taylor.
Yeah, I saw that coming.
Yeah,
mine
I
is
think
similar to that.
JT's gonna break the. It literally looks like he's gonna break the rushing touchdown record. And Drake May has taken a team. I mean, you talk about no weapons around. We're talking about geriatric Stephon Diggs and a guy whose name is literally Booty.
No, I know.
We're talking about a team that is.
He's been phenomenal.
They're trying to build a team around him, but this team was supposed to be.
And he's making it easy for them.
Exactly.
Very
this
easy.
team was supposed to be 2 years away, and their time is seemingly now. Unless he hits a hump, I think weirdly we could be seeing a Drake May MVP a lot earlier than anyone expected.
I agree, and it seems like the Patriots already have their franchise win against Buffalo. Like each great quarterback has that one win. Mahomes was when I think he probably beat Brady in the regular season or something. Allen, he beat Mahomes in the regular season. I think Hurts was kind of the same as that. And then you have May already beat Allen in his second year. He beat him after a year where he didn't play the whole season and didn't win a lot of games. That's big. With his roster, I mean, my front runner is Drake May. He is my guy who I think is probably, right now, the top. He is playing the best a quarterback is this entire season with arguably the worst offensive weapons out of any of those guys. And I guess there could be kind of an argument for Baker right now not having great weapons, but Emeka Egbuka isn't a chump. And Cade Otton's an okay tight end. All Drake May has is Diggs and Hunter Henry. That's all I know for like guys that are on his team. And even Diggs he's not the old Stephon Diggs, and he's playing like the old Stephon Diggs because his quarterback is getting him the ball in a way like that. And that's why like people were saying, oh, trade him A.J. Brown to the Patriots. No, that pick won't help us. They're getting to the playoffs. They probably will win a game or two. They could, I don't know. I don't want to talk about that yet. But they could win a game or two. But he's my front runner right now. And my second place is Mahomes, just because I think it's really hard for a running back. As we saw last year, Saquon should have won the MVP. He didn't because he's a running back. I have Taylor at 3. I have Love at 4. Mayfield at 5, and Hurts at 6.
Did you say Jordan Love at 4?
Jordan Love at 4. The numbers don't lie.
Numbers don't lie. Throw up, man.
I know. I've always been a Jordan Love fan. As much as I love giving crap to our friend, funny story about Jordan Love and him. The 2023 season, the first season that he fully started, our friend Josh was not all in on Jordan Love. He was complaining a lot. And I was saying, Love reminds me of Jalen Hurts a bit. He needs just a year to start, and he'll get better. And I kept saying that. And he said to me, I quote, I don't think he's a Jalen Hurts. He's not capable of it. And I was like, he will be. And then he won the game in Dallas, and then the next year he was fine. And this year he's looking good. I've always been a Love fan. And it looks like he could. I don't think he's going to win the MVP. Because I think that I don't think he, has the star power. Because I think that MVP votes do come with a bit of star power. And I do think that Drake May is playing out of his mind to a point that it doesn't seem like he's going to slow down with the schedule they have.
So Jordan Love to me is Dak Prescott light.
Ooh.
I think he has a good team around him. I think he's a great coach. I think like it's what happens if you take a quarterback that like is fine, is okay, and give him a fantastic coach.
Yeah, I mean that's fair. You got to admit
he's not a playoff quarterback. He's not a playoff quarterback.
He's not. He won that one game in Dallas, but that also. Yeah, and then he got beaten by. It seems like when he plays like a really good defense, he can't really win. As you saw with the Eagles and Niners.
Yep.
But I mean, the numbers don't lie. His interceptions are really down, And that was my big gripe with him going into the season is he going to be careless with the football? And he's just not. He's simply not been. And the one time he was against the Browns, which that was a devastating loss. I kind of am a little more lenient towards losses earlier in the season because the team's still trying to get an identity. But it seems like it took them till now to kind of have one. And their identity seems to be yards after catch. Throw the ball to your tight end, let him run. Give the ball to Jacobs and let Jacobs get 2 yards, dump it off, let him run. I think that I think the Packers tried to play him as a system quarterback, and I don't think he is. I think he has all the makings of a franchise guy, which he is now, but like a star quarterback. And I think if they let him out of his cage and let him chuck that downfield more, be the gunslinger. He's a gunslinger. Lean him into it. If he gets a few picks, that's fine. Last season, he almost led the league in touchdowns. I think he might have. Let him do it. Let him do it.
So, I'm going to correct myself from earlier. After last night's game, Patrick Mahomes has now gone to second in passing.
He's 2,099, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
So, do you have the stats up there right now?
I have them for Allen, Hurts, Baker, Love, Mahomes, and May.
Okay. I'm gonna ask you. So, where'd you have Jalen Hurts on your?
He's at the bottom of my guys. He's at 6.
I was gonna play a little game here. Who has more passing yards on the season, Caleb Williams or Jalen Hurts?
Is it Caleb?
It's Jalen. It's Jalen. It's
okay.
Jalen.
Okay,
Yeah,
Jalen.
I want to give you one.
Jalen.
Sam Darnold or Jalen Hurts?
Jalen.
Sam Darnold.
Okay.
Okay. Jordan Love or Jalen Hurts?
Love.
Yep.
Love.
Okay, so now we'll play with Love. Jordan Love or Bo Nix?
Love.
Bo Nix.
Really?
Yeah.
No way. Are you serious?
Yeah, Bo Nix has it's only like 5 yards, but it's 5 yards more.
So Bo Nix is better than Love, Josh.
Apparently, I mean Bo Nix also has 2 more passing touchdowns than
there you
Jordan
go.
Love.
Well, that's yeah. I think like so passing yard. I don't really look at passing yards as a whole for MVP. I think you should also look at like how they're playing, because I think I don't think anybody would sit here and say that Sam Darnold and Jordan Love are better quarterbacks than Jalen Hurts. Just like how I don't think somebody's going to say that Bo Nix is a better quarterback than Jordan Love.
Sure. I mean, if we're talking about attempts, Bo Nix has 285 pass attempts to Jordan Love's 213.
Yeah.
Right?
So it's like,
but then you also want to turn around and say Sam Darnold has 192 and still has more than Jalen Hurts at 215. So, anyways,
that's fully fair. That's fully fair. I just think that what are Darnold's interceptions and turnovers looking like?
Darnold has Darnold only has four interceptions.
4, yeah, and well, that's where I think like it comes down to total. Where I think that Jalen's big push for his MVP, I don't think it's his yards or rushing. I think it's his 20 touchdowns to 1 interception so far in the season and his 114.4 passer rating. I think that you kind of have to. You can't. It's not fair to put Josh Allen.
Where are you getting 20 to 1?
Total touchdowns to 1 interception?
Jordan Love?
No, Jalen.
Oh, I was like, where are you getting that?
No,
Jalen.
Love has 13.
I thought you were saying Jordan Love. I was like,
Love
what
is
the heck?
13 to 2. Jalen is 20 to 1, and that's where I think that Jalen's MVP candidacy should kind of work in his favor, and the way that he's won his games recently for the past 2 weeks.
Yeah,
he's just been the best throughout the past 2 weeks. I think he's been playing as the best quarterback in the league for 2 weeks.
I would, you know what? I see your case a little bit on the protecting the ball. So you're getting me around on that a little bit. But I think Drake May's far and away the front runner. And
no,
100%.
I think that Drake May is.
We're talking about attempts here too. He only has 226 attempts on the season compared to guys like Herbert, who have like Herbert, who has 296, right?
No, May should be the front runner right now for MVP.
Yeah.
Without a doubt.
That's actually insane.
And I don't think Allen should even be in the conversation. I don't know how he is. I saw on FanDuel his odds are still really good. This guy has 17 total touchdowns, 4 interceptions, yet less passing yards than Jalen Hurts with 1,560 and 261 rushing yards, which is only, I think, 56 more than Jalen Hurts, and a 103.6 rating.
They've already had their bye week though.
Yeah, and Jalen has his now. So we gotta I guess,
so
see.
like after this
Well,
week.
yeah, but even then, like he doesn't have the numbers that Hurts has. Even after this week, he won't because he has more turnovers and less total touchdowns, probably.
Yeah. I mean, you know what? Josh Allen, 10 touchdowns this game, man. 10
Yeah,
touchdowns.
Josh Allen, 10 touchdowns. But yeah, I don't think Allen.
You want to put that in our parlay? You want to put that in our parlay?
Definitely not. But yeah, no, I just think that I think that Allen, and you could look at the team, but again, your team is what you make of it, and he's not really making much of it. That MVP of their team is James Cook. Josh Allen has not won a game in which James Cook has rushed for less than 100 yards. Jalen has. Jalen's won every game. No, he's lost 2. But he's won most of the games in which Saquon has rushed for less. You can't have an MVP.
James Cook.
James Cook is great. You can't have an MVP conversation about Josh Allen without having one about Jalen Hurts. And as for Daniel Jones, the only reason why I'm not putting him in the convo is because Jonathan Taylor is in it. And I don't think you could have 2 players from this, which is what was so weird about Saquon and Jalen being in the convo last year. It didn't make sense because we all knew that Saquon was the best player on the team. He was. Whereas this year, I do think it's Jalen. I think he's our best player. But yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that tracks. And, like, honestly, Daniel Jones will probably I love that meme that's going around where it's, like, the comeback player of the year. And, like, his case is just coming back out off of the Giants. Or it's, like, every other guy's injury, and it's, like, he was on the Giants. And so, by the way, I don't know if we ever actually explained this. Freddie and I live in New York.
Oh, yeah, born and raised. I'm born and raised.
Yeah, that's why we call this Behind Enemy Lines because, Eagles fan over here, Cowboys fan over here, and we're both in home of the New York Giants. So,
yeah. I think they kind of hate us more recently after the whole Scattaboo thing.
Yeah, I mean, I can't believe you did that to him, man. I can't believe you did that to him on purpose,
dude.
Too.
That sucked. Like, he got a standing ovation from Philly fans. Do you know how loved
awesome.
you have to be to get a standing ovation from Eagles fans?
He's awesome.
And he even gave like a thank you to Eagles fans. He was like, "Thank you to the city of Philadelphia." And everything, and I was like, "Oh wow, he's a good guy. He's gonna be an issue for a few years in the division."
Yeah, speedy recovery, man.
Speedy recovery. If he doesn't, start seeing ghosts in the backfield.
Yep. I love that man. Oh, he's so fun.
He's great.
Do you want to hop over to this little fun parlay that we're doing?
I would love to. I want to hear what you're thinking because I want to tell you one that I won this week. Okay. My friend Jamal and I. Shout out. It was an easy one. Because I've lost every single one I've done this year, except this one. Every single one I have gone over. And then this week, what we did was, before the game, an A.J. Brown touchdown, Cam Scattaboo touchdown, Eagles win, a 2-touchdown game from Drake May, and a Patriots win. And because A.J. got hurt, they took that one out. And we bet 20, won 121. So
that's crazy.
I think easy bets are the way to go, but if we want to be a little goofy, we could do that.
Yep. So I'll explain this to everybody. So what we're looking at, Freddie and I think I lost because I dropped the first curse word today. So I'll throw in the money on this one, and then starting next week, whoever's bet messed it up first will pay the for just the next one. And then we'll since I did curse first, we only split it 50-50 rather than the 60-40 and all that. So Freddie and I are going to build a parlay together. We'll go one bet at a time, and then whenever someone sits there and goes, I don't know if that one's gonna hit, like I don't believe in that one, we'll still place that leg, but that'll be the last leg that we place. It'll be just a $10 bet, just easy, simple. So Freddie, you know what? I'm paying for it, so I'm letting you go first.
All right. Do we know if Lamar's coming back?
John Harbaugh did say he is playing.
He's playing this week against the Dolphins?
Yep.
Give me Lamar Jackson, give me Lamar Jackson. Oh, give me a 1 rushing touchdown, Lamar Jackson. Give me one.
Okay.
We'll keep it calm to start.
It's a plus 160. That's good. I like that. I mean, I'll stay with that Ravens-Dolphins game. I'm just going to not even say cover the spread. It's staying easy. It's only a minus 425. I'm going to say they're going to win the money line.
Oh, easy.
So, calling that easy. All right, back to you.
Let's see. I'm looking at the games right here.
You might see a trend with what kind of bets I take. I love money
No,
lines.
money lines are great. We got the Bears visiting the Bengals. Let's be a little fun here. Joe Flacco, 2 passing touchdowns.
Okay. I also like that. Okay. I was
that
wondering
one
to see if you were going to make me already say no. Um, the fun part about this is we're doing this once again on Tuesday, so we have to make sure that these bets
We have
actually exist.
no idea how this is going to
We
go
have
down.
we have no idea, and a lot of the Sunday game bets don't exist yet. So let me make sure. Cool.
Take a screenshot of the bet when you're done, because I want to. I'll put a little thing up here.
Yeah. So that's actually crazy. Yeah. So that one's not up yet. Choose another one.
Joe Flacco 2 passing isn't up yet.
Yeah, because I guess because they're
Sunday.
not. Yeah, I think it's only like spreads and stuff. We're still figuring this
Okay,
out. We can always do this on a later day next time too.
That's true. That's true. Here's the thing. What if I took Bengals money line?
That works. Yep, that's
You like
that's
that?
a positive too. I actually like that. I
Okay,
like that.
let's do it.
I think
Bengals
they're
money
gonna
line.
bounce back against the Jets.
And
That
Flacco played well that game.
he did. And you know where I'm going next? It's gonna be another positive. Broncos money line against the Texans.
Oh yeah, that's an easy.
Is
I
a
think
plus
that's-
105 right now.
that
It's a
can-
plus 105. All right, back to you.
I want to go back to a player one. Let's do Ravens Dolphins again. Give me a Derrick Henry 2 touchdown game.
Whoa.
I
All right,
think they're
that's where
getting
we're
back on
calling
track.
that one. That's it. We're gonna have it. That's where we're calling it.
You're calling that? Are you serious?
I'm calling it right there. I don't think
He had
that
2
one's gonna
touchdowns
hit.
against the Bears.
Yeah, but you also called a Lamar Jackson touchdown. That means you're
he gets
calling 3 touchdowns.
3
already.
rushing touch. I think that they've found their identity. We'll get to that. We'll get to it.
Hey, but that's awesome. So that
Alright.
so that is a 10-pick parlay, paying out $459 right there. We're
there
using
we go.
DraftKings on this one. DraftKings, if you want to sponsor us, do it.
Yeah,
So
we'll
all right,
pay.
cool. All right, putting that in right now. Wow, that is crazy. That's insane.
It's a 10 pick?
No, $10.
Oh, $10. Gotcha.
$10 for 400.
So you put the 2 rushing touchdowns, Derrick Henry?
Oh yeah.
Oh, it's gonna
yeah.
happen, dude.
Oh well, it's not gonna show
I
right
can
there.
see
Maybe
that.
I'll
Listen, I'll put it on the thing.
Yeah, I mean it looks doable, and we will know by Thursday. We'll know by Thursday.
Well,
I'm just
here's
gonna
the thing.
send them-
Huntley had a passing touchdown and Henry had 2 rushing.
Yep.
There's no
You-
way
you
Lamar
called it-
could do
you
worse.
Called, you called the Lamar rushing touchdown.
I think they could do 3.
Okay, cool. So you're
think
calling 3 rushing touchdowns right there.
100%.
That's wild. That's fun.
100%.
That's crazy. Fantastic. Oh wait, so what else do we have next? What do we
You
got?
want to go
What do we
into
got
here's our next segment here, real or what was it?
Oh, fighters or frauds? here?
Fighters or
frauds?
frauds. Fighters or frauds. I wrote real or
Hmm.
not real, which is a lot less fun than
Same
fighters
thing. You
or
know?
frauds. But
It's a
I want to
Hunger
ask
Games.
you, Brayden, are the Colts fighters or frauds?
They're gonna make playoffs.
Uh-huh.
They're gonna make playoffs. That's easy. There's no collapse coming
100%.
that way. They remind me akin to the Derrick Henry Derrick Henry Titans way back in the day. Frauds. They're gonna make playoffs, and when they get in the playoffs, they will lose. Maybe if they don't get a bye, then they'll lose in the second round. But they might win
100%.
one game.
Yeah,
They're not. They're not making Super Bowl.
I have them. I don't know if frauds is a right word, but I think they're what a lot of people think they are. Actually, no, because I think a lot of people think they're really good. They remind me of the Vikings of last year. They look great right now. When it comes down to that playoff game, do you trust Daniel Jones to do it for you? Because that's kind of what happened last year, and it didn't work out. Just another clarification. Jones, I think, is 13 touchdowns, 3 interceptions, 2,062 yards. But the record of opponents they've beaten is 19-35. It's the total record. And again,
that division looks terrible. So
their
it's kind of
division's
easy
awful. But you also, I hate holding records against teams because you play who's on your schedule. And it's like the Patriots have an easy schedule. I'm not going to hold that against Drake May playing how he is. Just like how I'm not going to hold it against Daniel Jones. I think, though, that when they do get to the playoffs, it'll be a wake-up call. And they'll probably host a game. If not, the Texans will maybe sneak in there like they always do and win. Or maybe the Texans will beat them in the playoffs. Who knows?
I don't know, man. That Colts-Buccaneers Super Bowl is going to go crazy.
Yeah. Remember when people were saying that? Daniel Jones in the Super Bowl?
It's going to be great. It's going to be amazing.
Yeah,
I agree with you. Well, what do you think about the Seahawks?
No. I think that they're frauds. I think they're frauds. Teams are going to figure out the JSN one-trick pony sooner or later. The defense is fully real. I fully think that defense is real. I think they are amazing. Their record of opponents beaten, again, 14-22. It's not great, but I think that they aren't as good as people think they are. And I think that Darnold, he's 13 touchdowns. No, I don't have his stats up here. But Darnold isn't... We've seen him collapse before in the playoffs. We've seen that happen. And I don't think that he's going to be able to keep up this season with the way that... And JSN is great. It's just he's their guy. And there's only so much you can do when you throw it to one person. And we'll see it. We'll see what happens. We'll see if they kind of open it up to Kupp a bit more and to other guys. But yeah, to me, they're frauds.
Yeah, I said fraud. But caveat, I can be convinced otherwise just because of that defense, right?
Yeah.
So if they really start going on a run and are just like shooting people down, I can be convinced otherwise, but I'm saying fraud right now.
Yeah, fully. They also, another thing about them that I think is pretty interesting, and what I want to call out the coach for, let Kenneth Walker get a touchdown. Why do you hate him? Why do you hate Kenneth Walker?
He's rough, man. Like
he can get a touchdown. They don't even give him a chance. It's 1st and goal. They put in Charbonnet.
Yeah, and Charbonnet has I think it's a 2.2 yards per carry right now. Like, it's his career worst. They do. I think they still have Halani too, right? Like, they still have Damian Martinez. Yeah, like, they still have guys that are very solid behind those guys. So I'm like, oh, well, if you're not going to use Kenneth Walker, then just get somebody else. But I've also kind of always been on the boat that I don't think Kenneth Walker is good.
I traded him for a pretty penny in our fantasy league, I'd say.
Exactly.
Got a first round pick out of it.
I'll say I don't think he's all that good. Primarily because when you saw him break early runs, right, early on in his career, they were exactly that. It was 2-yard rush, 2-yard rush, 2-yard rush, 74-yard rush, right?
Yeah.
He was boosting a lot of stats by getting a long rush, which is phenomenal when the offensive line is working. But when the offensive line starts to falter or the holes aren't there, he's not making something out of nothing that you see out of guys like Bijan, right? Like,
yeah.
Obviously nobody has to be Bijan, but even like Javonte Williams, as much as I think he's like fine right now, he will make something out of nothing sometimes. He falls forward. I just don't think Kenneth Walker does that anymore. And it's not his fault. He's had enough injuries that I don't blame him, right? He's not really going head first into a wall anymore. He's not going all Cam Scatterbill and stuff for good reason.
Good reason. Our next one, Broncos, fighter or frauds?
Look, fighter, extremely. I mean, Surtain has to get back on the field. He's officially out now for the next couple weeks. But fighter, that offense needs to figure out what it is. I don't think the Bo Nix of now can win a Super Bowl. I think you can get away with a Bo Nix if you know what you're doing. And I think that every week that offense, you really have no clue what you're getting. You're either getting a pumpkin or you're getting a carriage, and there's no reliability on it. I think, but we've seen in years of old that you can win with teams like that.
Yeah.
You can win. You can make it pretty far, because if you have enough to throw off teams like the Bills, like the Chiefs, and to make it a slugfest, all you need is a couple of breaks in that offense. I am worried that they don't have the firepower right now to hit those breaks.
I agree. They have their big franchise win against the Eagles. I think that's like kind of that also could be a turning point. But you look at who else they've beaten, and it's not great teams. The Eagles are their like one team that they beat that's good.
What are you talking about? What are you talking about?
Yeah. Yeah.
I pull it back. The Cowboys were on bye this last week.
They didn't even play them. No, they just
had 2 byes.
They have a tough schedule. They play the Chiefs twice, and I think they'll lose both of those games. I think they will probably lose to the Chargers again. The Chiefs are winning that division. It's kind of already written, set in stone, all that. They're going to do it. I think the Broncos, in terms of fighter or frauds, this is the one time that I genuinely don't know. I could see them losing out from here, and I could also see them winning every game from here. And it's so confusing to me because I could see them go to Texas next week and just have a complete bad game. And I could also see them just having a great game or also having a mediocre but they win game. And they just don't have an identity. They don't know what they're doing on offense. It seemed like they kind of did against the Cowboys, but again, Caleb Williams looked good against the Cowboys. Like, we don't really know what they are. So I agree. With you, you think they're fighters. I would lean more towards fighters, I think, but I don't necessarily know because I just don't know where I can – I can't really pick a direction right now.
They're the opposite of the Seahawks for me, where I said fraud, but I can be convinced otherwise. I think the Broncos are fighters, but I can be convinced otherwise.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point. That's fair.
Fair. Throw in the Chargers your way. What are you thinking?
Yeah, I think they're fighters. I don't think they're frauds. They've beaten some pretty good teams so far, and they've beaten the Broncos, who I have as a fighter. And I don't think that the Chargers – like, Herbert, yeah, he's turned the ball over a few times, but they've won against some pretty good opponents. The Chiefs and Broncos, I guess they've won against. Those are the only 2 good opponents they've won against. But I do think they'll make the playoffs. I think that they'll probably play well enough in a game. Maybe Herbert could take that next step to win a game. But the way that it's looking, I don't think he will win a playoff game this year. But I think they'll make it. I think they're fighters. I think they'll give each team a run for their money.
I'll say fighter, but genuinely, and I'm going to eat my words on this one, contrary to kind of our conversation a little bit earlier, fighter, and I think they do have a shot at making a Super Bowl. Like, I don't think it's I think as far as you look at those AFC teams, it's pretty open to where, like, if they're playing the Patriots, I don't necessarily say the Patriots are going to win that game. You know, it's like there are only a few teams in the AFC that I think can actually beat the Chargers, and if they're not, the way that the playoffs fall, if they don't end up lining up against any of them, right, if they end up, missing the Chiefs on one side of it, and then the Chiefs lose in a fluky game, right, it's like, okay, well then I could see them, kind of pulling a Commanders of last year and getting to that conference championship and not really deserving it or deserving it, but like not being expected to be there.
Yeah, that's very
and
fair.
so I could see them get close and maybe even sneak into the Super Bowl. I don't like what your last question was on this.
Oh, no, yeah. Well, before that, just want to say the Chargers are one of the only teams that one of the 4 remaining teams that Jalen Hurts has yet to beat. Not counting the Eagles, so we'll see how they do when they play each other.
Oh man, it's crazy that they won't face each other in February though. So don't worry, you're
no,
fine.
they won't. They won't make it. You're right. The Chargers aren't going to make it to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, the Eagles won't.
So the final one, which is my favorite, because this year I am the self-proclaimed Bryce Young guy. Panthers, fighters or frauds?
My exact notes are GTFO.
Okay. Yeah, no. Yeah. They're fighters.
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding.
What?
They're not. They are not. But it would be fun to see them go like 10-7 and make the playoffs. I'd like that. I predict them to.
Look, Rico Dow. They need to figure out what they're doing. With Chuba and Rico, because like Rico needs the like reins to be taken off. He just needs to go.
Yeah.
And Chuba's good, but he's a backup.
Yeah.
Like and
He is.
he should be. He's a great fill-in. He is Zach Charbonnet but lighter. Like he is a like a skinnier, faster Zach Charbonnet, and it's like that's what he should be. And the fact that they're like, oh, we'll just switch them on drives. Well, it's not doing either of them. Like they're both momentum based guys. It's not doing either of them a service, and I don't think the Panthers are smart enough to actually figure that out.
No, I kind of agree with you. I'm looking at their schedule here, and they play the Packers, Saints, Falcons, Niners, Rams, Saints, Buccaneers, Seahawks, and Buccaneers. And what are they right now? 4-4?
Yeah, something like that.
So I could see them losing to the Packers, and getting swept by the Bucs, and I could genuinely possibly see them win every other game, and go 10-7 and make the playoffs.
They're gonna get swept by the Saints, though, right?
No. And I could see them beating the Rams because the Rams always have a strange game where they throw one away, and the Niners just don't look great this year. Not a slight at them; they're very injured. And
I like them with Mac Jones, man.
I do, but they're not going to have a winning record.
Starting.
No,
yeah,
Purdy's
Mac's probably not
going
to be starting whenever. Yeah.
Purdy's not been great either, but I don't think the Niners. I think the Niners' record is better than they are as a team. And they're probably the only team I could actually say that about.
Yeah, them and Philly. So actually, them and Green Bay. Anyways,
them and Green Bay. I agree.
Them and Green Bay. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. If we're putting up fighters, frauds, they're fighters. They'll make playoffs and then they'll lose. Maybe 2 games in. Maybe two. Maybe they win one.
I don't know. The NFC North for the past year doesn't have a good playoff.
Yeah, so maybe they
one and done.
Might win one. Maybe they lose that first one. Yeah. So you're talking. So we got like one last team that we're kind of looking at here. Kind of a bigger one.
Yes.
What do you feel about those Baltimore Ravens, man? Lamar Jackson's supposed to be playing Thursday. Apparently, you think he's going to get a touchdown. Obviously, I think the Ravens are going to win.
They will.
Yeah. What are your thoughts here?
I think that Bears game for them was a must-win. It was. If they didn't win that game, I would not be talking about this week. They weren't even on the script until that game, and I think that they are back. I think the Ravens could go on a winning streak here and be 12-5. Here's the thing. They finally seem to have an identity. They have not looked like the Ravens in a very long time, and they did against the Bears. Granted, it's just the Bears, but the Ravens' defense is not good. It's not, and they were able to make the Bears, again, look not good. Tyler Huntley did everything he was asked, and Derrick Henry finally had his 2-touchdown game, and he's back to running it the way that they were having him. No more Justice Hill. None of that stupid switching out and out thing that they're trying to do with make him a Gibbs and Montgomery thing. This is what they need to do. They're going to surprise us, and I think that what they need to do is be the 2024 Philadelphia Eagles and just lean on Derrick Henry. Do that, and when Lamar needs to, let him make a play because he will. And now that they're 2-5, I think they could go on a run. The Patriots, we talk about them, they're great, but I think it's unfair of us to give the Patriots the benefit of the doubt that they're going to keep this up the entire season without being like the Ravens cannot bring this back. Their remaining schedule are the Dolphins, Vikings, Browns, Jets, Bengals, Steelers, Bengals again, Patriots, Packers, and Steelers. At worst, they'll probably go 10-7. I think they will beat everybody, and I think maybe they lose to the Patriots and Packers, but I could even see them beating the Patriots, and I could see them beating the Packers. Lamar doesn't lose to NFC teams.
So, yes. Just don't forget, they were not doing so hot with him healthy to start the season either way.
100%.
That defense, I honestly think that defense is a big reason, huge liability. They remind me, again, I've been talking history repeating itself over and over and over, of last year's Bengals, where I think they're going to go on a run, sure. Like, they're going to make these games competitive. They're going to start winning. They have no choice to press on, really, because, like, they're fighting the clock here. Like it's one of those things that rushing quarterbacks don't necessarily age super well unless you're Mike Vick and go to prison for a little bit. Like they don't age super well. So they want to capitalize off of Lamar as much as they can. They are a punch you in the mouth team, and they beat you up slowly. My issue is there's not a lot of room for them to take they're not a come from behind team. They aren't. Like they've never really been a come from behind team in games, just because of how they win games. They win games by running the clock down, by punching you in the mouth, by getting touchdowns early and making sure you don't have the ball and that you're uncomfortable. Because of that, I feel like if there's 2 games that they start going down, that spiral will start to spiral and panic even faster because every game is becoming a must-win game for them.
That's super fair. I think also looking at that division, the big bad AFC North, who everybody says is the toughest division in football, they're not. That's a bad division. The Steelers are not. I think this is going to be a 9-8 season for Mike Tomlin again, as it always is. I think the Ravens will win the division. I still think they could go 11-6 and do it. I understand what you're saying about must-win games. They could drop one. They could drop one and go 11-6. It's just I see what you're saying. It can't be to any of these pumpkins. It can't be to the Dolphins. It can't be to the Vikings. It has to be to the Patriots or Packers. It can't be to any other team. You cannot lose to Joe Flacco and the Bengals, and you cannot lose to Aaron Rodgers and the Steelers. You just can't.
Just don't forget, though. So, do you have their schedule in front of you?
Yeah.
Remind me, what division teams have they played already?
Only the Browns.
Okay, and they've only played one of those games.
Yep, and they won.
Okay, count each division game a split in that NFC North or AFC North.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Like each, that's how the AFC North goes every year. Is that
if it's a split, then they'll probably go 9-8, and it'll not be great.
Split. And that's exactly where I'm at with it.
But last year they were able to sweep the Bengals, and I think they did lose to the Browns and Steelers once each. But I don't know. We'll see what they do. I've never seen them in this scenario with Lamar where they need to do. It'll be interesting. It'll be interesting to see how they could do a run here and to see if Lamar could get them to that next level.
Yeah. It's one of those things of my resident Baltimore fan that I'm real close with. He always says, well, just count 3 losses to start the year. He's like, because you're going to split every division game in that division. So, by the way, I have a little thing for you. I'm going to send you a photo real quick.
Okay.
We're going to, you ready to move on to this Guess the Player?
Yeah, let's move on to Guess the Player.
Okay, so, fun little history here. This started off, I was on Sleeper, if anybody plays fantasy football. If you're listening to this, odds are you probably do. On Sleeper, I was looking at some stats, looking at some players to pick up in our Dynasty League, and I came across Kyle Juszczyk, who, if you look at his stats, is listed as a running back, but is, by the way, as I'm explaining, feel free to look at those photos, is listed as a running back, but on his scale, he's rated as a fullback. So, he scored like 30, or what? I actually have it here. He scored like 57 points in a season, but he's rated as the number 1 ranked player at his position. But it doesn't tell you that he's a fullback there. And so I played a little game called Guess the Player, and it really stumped everybody. So now we're gonna do that here.
This one's hard.
Yeah, so Freddie, you have a guy. Every person is a currently playing player. So I'm doing I'm not doing any retired players. Is a currently playing player. So obviously in that 7 games that's this season, it's 4 seasons in front of you for those of you that are listening and not looking at the screen here. It's gonna be 4 seasons. You got 15 games, 11 games, 7 ranked in full PPR. 18th, 19th, 27th, and then this year 28th. Has only 1 season over 200 points. 202, and then his second year he had 199, his third year 181, and then this year 75. Only one rushing season over 1,000 yards, which was his rookie year as well. 905 his second year. And then not a big pass catcher. Only capped out at 299 last year. Those are your hints. I can give you some extra hints, but do you have any guesses off rip?
Okay, I'm looking at his rushing stats.
Yep, you can tell he's a running back.
Okay, he's a running back.
Yeah, receiving stats are poor.
Oh man. Is this a guy I had on my team at one point?
Maybe.
Did we talk about him on the show today?
Maybe.
I want to guess. Do I want to guess him?
Yeah, throw a guess.
Is it Kenneth Walker?
It's Kenneth Walker.
It is
baby.
Kenneth Walker. I knew it. Dude,
as soon as you started talking about it,
those touchdown numbers are
crap.
crazy. That's what got it. That's what I was like, there's no way.
It's what I've been saying, man. So over the offseason, I wrote with a little conglomerate called Benchwarmers Anonymous, and I did an entire series based off of running backs scoring, not in PPR or not in like points per game, but rather over the span of the season, just looking at 200-point seasons or more, right? So like obviously with injury you lose that. But I wanted to see how players bounce back from having a year off of that due to injury, due to regression, whatever. And that's when I found out that Kenneth Walker might actually suck at football. Because dude had one 200-point season, man, and it was his rookie year, and he only beat that by 2. Now, granted, right, the next year he was 199, so it's close enough. But he's looked at every offseason as this guy that, if he stays healthy, he can break the league.
Yeah, this
he
could
had
be
15
his
games,
year.
games, and he only, cracked 200 barely. Like that's not a breaking the game season. He's quite literally, never been better than in PPR RB 18, and that was his rookie year.
Yeah.
It's one of those guys, man. If you're looking at fantasy, he's great for like 1 to 2 weeks that you can count on, but oh my gosh, I don't think he's never a season-long bet for me, man.
Yeah, no, he's that's really crazy. I did not realize that's the touchdowns is what just stood out to me, because I don't know his rushing stats well enough, but that's insane. That's insane.
Yeah, did you hear me try to bury that? I really tried not to hark on the touchdowns.
No, that's wild.
I have another one for you next week. I'm really excited.
Oh, I'm excited. I want to keep this streak going. One guess.
Yeah, you're one of one, man. You're one of one. That's crazy.
All right. Next up is a very popular, one of the best sections that we will ever have. What are your opinions on boats?
Boats.
You like boats?
I mean, I don't mind boats. Boats are pretty cool. I think it's I get what they're all about. They're pretty cool.
They're pretty cool.
Yeah, they're pretty cool. They can really they can take me places if I so desire. I don't ask them a lot of questions because you're like, what are you doing? Anyway, they're pretty cool. They're pretty cool.
Boat fan. Gotcha.
Yeah. What about you? You like boats?
I'm a big fan of boats. I like to call them flotillas. They have captains, they have crewmates, they have everything, and that's how I'm gonna grade these quarterbacks in the NFL. Is Freddy's fluctuating flotilla of quarterbacks. Now I'm gonna go ahead and show you it and get it going. Let me set it up for us. Welcome to Freddy's fluctuating flotilla
Is that you
of
in the front
quarterbacks.
right there?
Yeah, that's me. That's Freddie D. Luffy. I'm a big One Piece fan, and I kind of put it on this boat. But I'm going to start with a disclaimer. I'm not including Tua on the boat. He's walked the plank. He's not on. I'm not including Jake Browning. He's walked the plank. I've been doing this for a few weeks now. And I'm also not including Russell Wilson, or I am including Flacco because he's back on. But all those guys are off. And
Is
Fields
Tua
Fields is also off. Justin Fields is gone as well.
is Tua like off to the side of the boat, like swimming with the dolphins or something? Like, cause he's close.
He's close to. If he has another good week, the Dolphins may push him back on you. They go and get him back. But we gotta see. We gotta see how they go. But either way, let's start out right here. How do I click it? How do I? Here we go. Temporarily on land.
It's a lot of guys.
Jaden Daniels, Bryce Young, Kyler Murray, Joe Burrow, Brock Purdy, Lamar, McCarthy, and Penix. They were injured this week. They're temporarily on land. You know, I'm not going to grade them if they're hurt. Next up, Plank Watch. We got Cam Ward. Honestly, this was made before Rattler
Yeah, I was about to say.
benched.
I mean, that
Rattler's
was like an
walked
hour
the
ago.
plank. He's
Yep.
he's gone. Gino and Kirk are on Plank Watch. Walks the plank. Carson Wentz, my king.
Huh.
I love you, Wentz, but it's over.
Yeah, he's got some peg legs now.
It's over. We're going to start in the boiler room. Each boat needs a boiler room to keep it going. We got Dylan Gabriel, Caleb Williams, Jacoby Brissett, Aaron Rodgers, Jackson Dart, and Mariota. All of them down there. All of them not
Whoa.
playing particularly great football. Keep them
Whoa.
down there. That's how they're doing.
Whoa.
You know it. You know it.
I have issues with some of these. Continue.
Next up,
But I have issues.
Passengers. C.J. Stroud, Joe Flacco,
Oh my
Trevor
God.
Lawrence, and Macalito Jones, the backup king himself. Mac Jones. Come on. You love him. You know him. Everybody loves Mac Jones.
Disgusting.
Nah, you love him. Next up, crewmates. Dak and Herbert.
Yep.
They're just here. You know, they're helping out. They're helping the passengers get situated, telling the boiler room people how to get this ship going. Stuff like that. But they're not quite the first mate of the ship. In which we got Darnold, Jones, Nix, Allen, Mayfield, and Goff.
You're missing a guy.
Our first mates all up there having a great time. They're working. And now,
There's a guy you're missing.
who are they here to help? The leaders of the ship. The ones who all of them should look up to. The captains. Mahomes, Stafford, Drake May, Jordan Love, and Jalen Hurts are our captains of the week. This is the most accurate graph you will find to rank quarterbacks online. You could research it. You could see by Brayden's reaction. He agrees with me. This is how you do it. Brayden, your thoughts?
I'm gonna throw up, man. I must be seasick. This is crazy. Oh my gosh. So, yeah, wow. Well, first of all, okay. I think Cam Ward, like, it can't, put him in the boiler room. Like, it's too early. You can swap him. I'd rather have you like Dylan
well,
Gabriel.
necessarily plank watch is if Cam Ward walks the plank, that doesn't mean that I think he's not a starter. It means that I don't think that he'll improve to a point this season where I feel like I could rank him anymore.
Yeah.
So that's all that means. If I want to like clarify that, plank watch and walking it doesn't mean that you're done. It just means that I don't think you'll ever surpass the people in front of you for the rest of the season.
Yeah, well, and that's where I think, like, I almost say you could swamp, like, throw, like, C.J. Stroud down in the boiler room, Trevor Lawrence, Mac Jones, and then bump up guys like Dart, Rodgers, and even Caleb. They're, like, I think you got to bump down Jalen Hurts and Jordan Love, and... yeah, I guess you can keep Stafford there. He's doing pretty good. Down the first mates, and then bump up Josh Allen and Baker up into captains. And then and honestly, I think you got to throw it, like, just for what he's done so far, man. I think you got to throw Danny Dimes into the captains. Like, if you're gonna have Jordan Love and Jalen Hurts, I think like Danny Dimes has got to be up there, Yeah, this is a disgusting list that makes me very, very upset and viscerally. The fact that you should have more crewmates. The fact that you technically have Darnold and Nix over Dak is and Herbert is wild.
Well, here's the thing. This is I also want to stress that this is a week-to-week grading. this isn't who I actually think are the best. I think that the best quarterbacks in the NFL are the big five, which are Mahomes, Burrow, Allen, Lamar, and Hurts. I think those are the best five that we currently have. This is just week to week, and week to week, I can't necessarily put Allen above what Hurts and Love have done so far, which is my argument for them. Same with like Baker was up there last week. Baker was up there. He didn't play particularly well this week against a team that's probably the worst in the league.
Yeah, you got most of the parts right. I'll give you credit for that. But that Jordan Love being way up there, man.
I did that, honestly. I did that. He's been playing great. There's no two ways about it. He's really been playing great. As much as it hurts to admit, he's been playing great.
This can make me heave. I'm seasick, man. I'm seasick.
I also didn't include Andy Dalton, and because I just kind of forgot. But he would probably be in the plank watch room right away.
Yeah, Andy Dalton, and you're fine. He's had his career. He's been good.
He's been
and TCU, man, Red Rifle can walk the plank at any time.
Yeah, Red Rifle might be out. I think Young is also probably back this week, so Bryce will.
He should be.
Bryce is currently a passenger. We'll see where he goes after next week. But yeah, that's the most exciting segment in sports and the best, most accurate list you'll ever find on quarterbacks. Excuse me. I think Brayden agrees fully with me. Anyway, that was the flotilla of quarterbacks, everyone's favorite. Segment.
Sorry,
and the best.
I had to go and throw up there. That was nasty.
Yeah, the best throw up out of glee and excitement about how great it was. This is our finale. We're gonna go through our playoff predictions and Super Bowl predictions. I kind of want to hear how it's going. I kind of did that whole quarterback segment. I want you to start off with your playoff predictions. What have we got here?
Yeah, so I know I snuck a look at your notes there. I went. I was a little less pure and didn't go matchup by matchup, but I will say I got some division winners and then have my my Super Bowl champs. So I do think in the East the Bills are still going to win that division. I think in the AFC, I think it's going to be very close. Then you got the North with an uninspiring Pittsburgh Steelers that's going to end up winning it just kind of by default. I think like as we talked about the Ravens. They're just in a little bit of a hole, and if they decide that, like, if the season pressure starts to get to them, it'll get close, but I do think the uninspiring Steelers are going to win it. I think the South, the Colts are going to win it, and the Colts are going to be the first team to clinch their division. So I think as far as the season goes, they're going to clinch it first, and then in the West, the Chiefs are going to win that division because the other teams in that division, the Broncos and the Chargers, can't get out of their own way. So I have that in the AFC. In the NFC East, I think the word I used here was a dysfunctional Eagles team will win that division. So an Eagles team will win that division, but a dysfunctional one, regardless. With then Detroit will win the NFC North because the Packers will remember that they have Jordan Love. And in the South, Tampa will be the first clinchers to clinch their division as well. And then in the West, the Rams, in a very tight race, are going to win that division. But I think that division will have 3 playoff teams coming out of it.
Yeah,
so they're going to have 2 wild card teams.
Have that as well.
And then in my good old Super Bowl, man, what it should have been, was it last year? 2 years ago. 2 years ago. What it should have been 2 years ago. Chiefs, Detroit. You know what? We're bringing that chip to Detroit, man. Detroit's going to win the Super Bowl. I made a small bet at the beginning of the year.
Will they be eligible to win the Super Bowl?
You know they will. And they're gonna win the Super Bowl right here. And they're gonna beat Kansas City. It's gonna happen. Eminem's gonna cry. It's gonna be fun. He's literally gonna just weep on national television. All right, so there we go. I have Chiefs Detroit. What do you got?
All right, in the AFC, Here's my seeding. I'm going to kind of go by seeding here because that's what I want to do. Our number 7 seed, I have the Los Angeles Chargers at 10-7. I just think, yeah, like you said, they're not going to be able to get out of their own way. And then right after that, I have at 6 the Denver Broncos at 11-6. At the 5th seed, I have the Patriots at 11-6. And then at the 4th seed, I have the Bills at 11-6, winning their division. Winning the North, I have the Ravens at 11-6. Winning their division, I have the Colts as the number 2 seed at 12-5. And then at the number 1 seed, I have the Chiefs at 13-4. I see them losing maybe one more game. And I'm not sure who it will be to, but they're going to probably lose one more. I don't think they'll lose more than one. It seems like everything is kind of firing on all cylinders for them.
So you have the Steelers falling out?
I have the Steelers completely out of it. Yeah, I don't think they're going to make it, and I think that Aaron Rodgers is going to kill any bid that he should have for the Hall of Fame with his last 3 seasons of absolute clown show debauchery.
And you have the Dolphins not in it? That's crazy, man.
I know. That's my big pick. I was a little scared to say that one.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah. Moving on to the NFC. 7th seed. Carolina Panthers, 10-7. Carolina Panthers. I have the Panthers. They are going to make the playoffs. I have a bet that they will make it at 10-7. They're
I'm gone. I'm out. Leaving.
They're going to make it, man. They're going to be 10-7. Bryce Young makes his playoff debut. At number 6, we have the Niners at 12-5. Brock Purdy coming back. Wants to finish what he started in 2023. We got the Detroit Lions at number 5 at 12-5. Yeah, I just think that's how it's going to be for them. I did not even include this one up here, but I am now. Just know. I then have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers as the 4th seed at 11-6, with the Rams rounding in the 3rd seed at 11-6. I then have the Eagles as the 2nd seed at 12-5, and then the Green Bay Packers as the 1 seed at 12-4-1.
So that means you have the Eagles and the Panthers in that first round of the playoffs?
Yep. Bryce Young gets his first playoff debut to get absolutely sent back home to Carolina. A great season by him that unfortunately ends in one of the worst playoff performances by a quarterback. He will lose that first round. Eagles will win in the wild card. Then we'll have 49ers at the 3 seed Rams. I think the Rams will win that one. And then we got the Lions at Buccaneers. I think the Lions will beat them. I think the Lions will get that win, sending the Buccaneers being our only upset there in the NFC. Meanwhile, moving on to the wild card round here in the AFC, you'll have the 7th seeded Chargers against the number 2 seed Colts. I actually picked the Chargers to win that. I think that'll be the second 7 seed to ever win a playoff game. And because that's mainly also, I don't know if they'll definitively be one, but that's mainly my lack of faith in the Colts to win one. And then I have the 3 seed Ravens beating the Broncos, and then I have the 4 seed Bills beating the Patriots. I just think that comes down more so to experience. And I think with the Broncos, it kind of comes down to we don't really know what they are. And with the Patriots, nothing against Drake May. Josh Allen has more experience here. In the divisional round, we have the Lions at the Eagles and the Rams at the Packers. I think the Eagles beat the Lions, and I think the Rams beat the Packers.
Yep.
I don't think the Packers will win a playoff game this year.
Okay.
You remember when their player, after they went 2-0, I think it was, he was like, yeah, I think we're going to go undefeated. I think they have too much of that mentality in the locker room, and I think it's going to bite them in the butt. A lot like how it did the Lions last year.
Yep.
They remind me of the Lions of last year. That's all it is. They're probably going to lose their first one. Then I have the Bills at the Ravens and the Chargers at the Chiefs. Bills and Chiefs are winning. We're going to have an AFC Classic Championship matchup in which we'll have what the true, I feel, good AFC Championship and NFC Championship should have been last year. Rams at Eagles, Bills at Chiefs. And I have the Eagles winning and the Chiefs winning, giving us a part 3 of this saga. Eagles at Chiefs, in which the Eagles win, go back-to-back, and set the stage for the actual three-peat to begin. The Philadelphia Eagles will be the first team in the NFL to three-peat, and then Jalen Hurts will be hailed as the best quarterback in the league.
No bias, right?
No bias at all, of course.
No bias at all? Okay,
No
cool.
bias. No, but my Super Bowl pick before the season was Eagles-Chiefs Part 3. Maybe that's like an easy stance, but...
If that happens, you trading A.J. Brown after? If you win a second Super Bowl?
You trap him there. He's trapped. He can't leave.
He's stuck.
He's in purgatory, and you tell him that he will never be free from the Philadelphia Eagles. No, it actually makes me think a lot. What happened to the Chiefs when they got rid of Tyreek? They won 2 Super Bowls. They won 1 with him, but then they won 2 without him. What happens to the Eagles if they trade A.J. Brown?
The Chiefs win 2 Super Bowls.
The Chiefs win. Oh, man. No, I do. Yeah, that's good. But I do think that it'll be Eagles-Chiefs Part 3. As much as every single person in America, minus Eagles and Chiefs fans, want that, it's the most watched game every time it's on. It's going to happen.
It's a Super Bowl. It has to be.
No, even the rematch. Every rematch of Eagles-Chiefs is like the most. They've played each other. Fun fact, since Jalen Hurts has been in the league, he's played the Chiefs every year. They're kind of like a sleeper rivalry that's kind of budding there, I feel, Jalen and Mahomes and the Eagles and Chiefs. But nowadays, they're just a free win for us every year since 2023.
Yeah, that's how I feel about the Packers.
Yeah, for sure. Free win for the Cowboys.
Free win.
But,
every time.
Every single time.
Every time.
Hey, you tied. You have the last say in that one.
Yeah, you know what? We won. We won a tie. I love it.
As much as Josh will say you guys paid to get it, they should have paid more.
They quite literally actually paid. They actually paid draft picks to get that.
They should have. The Packers should have paid more to win that one.
Yep.
But yeah, that's it for episode 1 of Behind Enemy Lines. We will be here every Wednesday. Brayden and I getting ready to film these shows for you. Fresh takes, unbiased takes as always.
Unbiased.
And
completely.
My parting words are cry Dallas cry.
Whoa. Okay, fine. Whatever. You can say that. Dude, it's been an absolute blast.
It's been amazing.
I'm looking forward to this.
Genuinely, awesome. This has been so much fun, and I hope it's been as fun for everyone listening as it has been for us to do. And I really look forward to continuing this up, and I look forward to our other segments, see what else we could cook up here. But yeah, I like what we got going.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I'll leave by saying, how about them boys? How about them Cowboys? Here we go. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be good. It's gonna be a good season. It's gonna be a great season, and we're gonna see when the Cowboys prove me wrong and win the NFC East. It's gonna be fantastic.
Yeah, then you'll wake up, and it'll be the parade for the Eagles going back to back.
Sure. Cool. Hell yeah. Awesome, dude.
Alrighty.
Alrighty. Fantastic. Well, we'll see everybody next week.
Yeah, thank you all for watching, and we will see you then.